This next gentleman, I like his work very much, Jared Levine. God, we've only known each other, what now, about 2 months. He's entered our world and gives me great pleasure. Jared, if you'd be so kind.
Jared.
Thanks. Okay, my license says I'm 5'8", so. I wrote this poem today at work. Not sure how it came out because I kept getting distracted. I haven't been writing too much lately, and it kind of reminded me how much focus is necessary to really, do something of moderate quality. Well, let's see how it comes out. It's called If, Then What If? Half full, half empty, doesn't matter. If there's something in the glass, I'm going to drink it, and then the glass will be empty. If I refill it, I'm the momentary optimist until I spill it. If I spill it, I'm the accidental pessimist until I refill it. What if I'm just thirsty? What if I'd had a long day, woke up at 5 before the early vernal sunrise rose and split apart the gray gauze blush of merely bluish sky, tricked the morning out to springtime's pimp cane and limped back at dusk bruised like bad fruit? What if that's how I feel on my crawl to the at-last door of crepuscular light, when that phosphorescent painting of heaven on earth by Thank God It's Friday is just another cheap print on a sticky bar napkin during happy hour? And what if I'm just thirsty? Heads, tails, doesn't matter. The odds are the same. They reset with each flip and hold true for each coin. If I call heads, I'm the subconscious idealist, unless I lose. If I call tails, I'm the dubious cynic, unless I win. What if I can't even choose? What if I'm overcome by the totality of probably infinite possibilities, staggered by the sum of the stars in the southern sky, some kind of square-rooted imaginary integer raised exponentially high in the inky firmament? What if my status as a speck of sand in the universe shatters my ego and squishes my sense of self-worth? Where is my solace, my heaven on earth, my God to thank it's Friday for a long day flipping coins, cobbling up choices from quarters? And what if I can't even choose? Lover, fighter, doesn't matter. It starts with passion and ends with pain, and no one learns its lessons. If I fight for love, I'm a fool or a hopeless romantic. If I love to fight, I'm alone or just hopeless. So what if I love a fighter? What if I've only ever done both? If I've constantly, ceaselessly clawed and scratched, caressed and slapped myself, poured myself out, prose, poem, and letter, heart, mind, and soul, wrenched words from my pen to ride on the page, write, stamp, and send, sail on the wind and punch through the mailbox, wrap a right jab in my jaw, shine up my eyes? What if all I've got you're looking at, kid? Heaven on earth, yes, thank God it's Friday. My tongue is bleeding from a French kiss. So what if I love a fighter?
That's a good day at work. Good day.
Oh yeah. It took like 6 hours, word by word. I talk on the phone all day. This is called Vicious Cycle. Some of you know I'm a recovering drug addict. And this piece is probably unnecessarily long, repetitive, and maybe obnoxious even, but that's kind of the point. It's really what it's like. Vicious cycle. I have to steal money to buy gas, to drive to work, to have cash, to cop drugs, to feel happy 2 days a week, and I get paid once every 2 weeks. I have to manipulate friends to make them like me or pity me enough to lend me cash, to enable me to use drugs, to fight off withdrawals, to have the energy to steal money to buy gas. I have to shit too much or not enough according to the amount of drugs I've used to fight off withdrawals, to stop shitting long enough to lie to friends, to manipulate them into liking or pitying me enough to lend me cash to enable me to cop drugs to be happy 2 days a week. To have the energy to steal money to buy gas to drive to town to cop drugs, I have to lie to and manipulate friends to make them like me or pity me enough to lend me cash to cop drugs to get good enough to go to work, to get paid once every 2 weeks, to repay lied to friends, to make them like or pity me enough to lend me money to enable me to use drugs to feel happy 2 days a week, to keep driving to work, to get paid once every 2 weeks, to have the cash to cop drugs, to stop shitting long enough to step back and just breathe. I want to step back and just breathe, but I have to shit too much or not enough according to the amount of drugs I've taken to fight off withdrawals, to get good enough to steal money to buy gas to drive to work, to get paid once every 2 weeks, to have cash to cop drug, to step back and just breathe long enough to lie to friends, to make them like or pity me enough to let me manipulate them into lending me money to buy gas to drive to town. I have to shoot, to score, to stuff that smack in my car, to drive home, to slam dope, to get good enough to stop shitting long enough to step back and just breathe before lying to friends, to manipulate them into lending me cash to enable me to cop drugs to feel happy 2 days a week. I have to slam dope to have the energy to steal money, to buy gas, to drive to work, to get paid once every 2 weeks, to have money to repay lied to friends, to make them like me or pity me enough to enable me to cop drugs, to get good enough to step back and just breathe, to think of new ways to steal money, to buy gas, to drive to friends, to lie, to manipulate them into lending me cash to cop drugs, to slam dope, to stop shitting long enough to drive to town to cop drugs, to slam dope, to lie to cop dope, to slam drugs, to cop drugs, to slam dope, to cop slam dope, slam dope, slam cop, slam dope. I have to stop. That's a true story. This last piece is actually also a true story. This is an ad that I posted on Craigslist Northampton between October 23rd and 25 of 2016. I went out there and I was just struck by the pretentiousness, and it was just a really, it's a nice place. It's a very historic town, college town. But it just rubbed me the wrong way. So we posted this ad called Hipster's Paradise Casting Call. And we put it under gigs. We got some interesting responses too. Now filming in downtown Northampton, Massachusetts. Bring your beers, put on your patchouli, pour yourself a tall, hard-to-pronounce craft beer or a seasonal spice latte. Play it safe by wearing a scarf or a derby hat, and don't forget to not wash your hair. We need self-important Uber and hyper-liberals with well-endowed old money trust funds, requesting those who look like hippies if hippies were graphic design majors in a world without LSD. Children are welcome, provided their names are non-biblical and reflect the parents' open-minded social consciousness. For example, affirmation, Spanish, Jessica for a boy. Downtime activities will include curbside classes in handcrafted mason jar salads, flossing with artisanal twine, and repurposing wool cardigans from used lambskin condoms. Please have a backup pair of square black frame glasses. Lumberjack shirts are permitted, lumberjacks are not. If you are a writer, you must prove it by carrying no fewer than three well-worn, pocket-sized hardcovers, one of which must be a copy of Moby Dick you purchased from Herman Melville's great-grandson's second cousin through Craigslist. Additionally, you must share the story behind this sale, i.e. the guy used your $130 to buy heroin in South Boston. The book was the only possession rescued from a 4-alarm fire that killed 3 undocumented immigrant laborers and a cat rumored to be the inspiration for Jim Davis's Garfield. Participants are encouraged to be better than everyone else while feigning some ill-conceived sense of normalcy. Remember, keep it weird. The first person who laughs on set will be burned at the stake as the Black Keys play Just a Little Heat. There's no street parking, but surely you own a bicycle. Thank you.